You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Sometimes writers feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
My name is Jessie. I'm a United States Special Forces widow. This gives me a unique perspective on the world around us. If you're willing to listen, I'll tell you how I see it, and I won't pull any punches. This is my POV, which stands for Point of View.
All right, it's Jessie. How y'all doing out there today? Yes, I miss you when we're not talking. All right, got a couple of announcements for you before I kick the show off. First of all, I want to remind you that this show is always available in a number of formats. You can get it. You can join me live and hang out in the chat room at KLRNRadio.com, where liberty and reason still reign. You can grab your iPhone and hit podcasts and search for Jessie's POV, or even KLRN Radio, all one word, thank you. And it'll be there with a whole host of other shows. How else can you find it? You got an Android? It's on the Google Play Store. You like iHeart? It's there. Alexa can even find it for you. Podcast.com, Pocket Cast, Blueberry. I've lost track, folks. I've lost track. And of course, you can even listen to it replay on the show page on KLRNradio.com. Now, I want to give a special shout out and thanks to all of my wordsmiths. Yes, my wordsmiths. Who? I know, all you regulars that just listen to this show and don't know anything about coffee shop are sitting there scratching your heads going, who? What? Why do we care? All right, my website, Jessie's Coffee Shop, has a chat room. It's not where I hang out during shows. That's the KLRN Radio chat room. But it is open at least during November for my wordsmiths. These are writers. Now, I don't think it's a secret that I love books. I probably just don't talk about it that much on this show. And I have a chat room for them so they can talk to each other while they're writing and doing their thing, mostly during the month of November, because that's called NaNoWriMo. Well, the month of November is quickly fading. It is a little after 9 o'clock on November 30th. So, wordsmiths, I hope you've validated your NaNoWriMo victories. And if not, I hope you're running down the home stretch. So, my wordsmiths are very special to me. I do sometimes hang out there. I'm no writer. I am no writer. But I love books, so it's my way of helping my writer friends to have a chat room. Excuse me, Mr. Frog had to put his 2 cents in. So, I do love and appreciate every one of my listeners. Without a doubt. Whether you listen live, you listen via Memorex. Now, I've also got something else. I'm going to let a cat out of the bag. Meow. No, that's not Host Kitty. That's me trying to speak meow. But anyway, I finally did it. I broke down and finally did a mashup of some of my favorite North Korean comments. And I will be playing that one later in the show. So, I finally did it. Alright. Now, I am working on refining the show a little bit. And you're going to notice there's going to be some changes. Oh, you're still going to get my opinion. Hold the candy coating. It's just one of those things of, I'm working on coming up with cute little intro music, not just my sound effects. To go with the different topics I regularly cover. So of course I'd have one for North Korea, one for the Middle East, things like that. And maybe even one for my new segment that I premiered last night, Good Guys with Guns. And what that one's going to be about is that one is going to be all about concealed carry permit holders saving the day, taking care of things before the police could get there. So I find this intriguing, and it's just something no one else is doing. So I thought, it doesn't quite fit, but it's a little break, kind of like I often try and end the night on a good news story. Don't always get it, but I do try. Alright, now the sound you've all been waiting for. Yep, that was the show prep. And you're all going, sounds like a lot. Well, guess what? It is. And the world's still burning, friends. There is always seems to be a lot going on. And I will start off with North Korea. And then we will move on to other news. Yeah, there's actually other news out there. People have been speculating why North Korea took 2 months away from testing missiles. Well, they were probably building the Hwasong-15. So, it's probably more practical causes. It was probably getting things ready. And I'm likely to go with that. I mean, you realize that North Korea accelerated its missile program beginning in 2014, stepped back in 2015, but then in 2016 it had 24 major tests. And so far this year there's been 19. Yes, 19. And the year's not over. So it is interesting, it is fascinating, and don't forget the Olympics are coming up. And the Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang is about 60 miles from the DMZ. That's the border between North and South Korea. The Olympics, of course, could be a great showcase for South Korea. However, Pyongyang, which I have a sneaky suspicion will be boycotting the Olympic Games, could pull out a nice batch of sour grapes and start lobbing missiles. Which will prove the case that they are the international pariah everyone says they are. All right. Because it's kind of been one of those unwritten rules. You leave the Olympic Games alone. Now, there's also U.S. South Korean military exercises scheduled for the same time frame as the Olympic Games. Which could prove interesting because North Korea will often say, oh, well, we launched because you were doing drills. Because those drills are preparation for an invasion. Guys, if we really wanted to invade, we would have done it already. We're not going to fart around. Personally, I think the drills are about readiness. I also think that we may not tell North Korea that we are going to launch. Or we may not tell South Korea what we're up to. Because they're a little gun shy. Well, President Moon is. In fact, you know, I don't cover U.S. politics, but I'll talk about everybody else's. And while the Trump administration did stop one step short of calling for regime change in North Korea, called on a number of people to do things. Now, Secretary of Defense Mattis said he's unwilling to conclude diplomacy has not worked. However, he said our diplomats are operating from a position of strength because we do have military options. And, of course, Germany announced it was withdrawing a third diplomat from its embassy in Pyongyang, but not cutting diplomatic ties. All right. And there is little room left to impose new sanctions. Cutting off oil is not something China will take lightly because it could truly lead to the collapse. China has proposed again their freeze for a freeze, which, of course, you remember what Nikki Haley said about freeze for a freeze? I'll remind you. Give me just a moment. I've got a lot of Haley clips. what can I say? I've got a lot of North Korea clips in general. Here it is.
War is never something the United States wants. We don't want it now. But our country's patience is not unlimited. We will defend our allies and our territory. The idea that some have suggested a so-called freeze for freeze is insulting. When a rogue regime has a nuclear weapon and an ICBM pointed at you, you do not take steps to lower your guard. No one would do that. We certainly won't.
Now, I also have a few lovely passages from an editorial in a South Korean news publication. The United States' tough reaction to North Korea's latest missile provocation is pushing the Korean Peninsula into a potential military clash. After North Korea fired its most advanced ICBM missile, the Hwasong-15, the State Department mentioned the possibility of enforcing a naval blockade on North Korea's maritime transportation, aimed at cutting off some or all of the country's external economic activities, including trade. It is arguably the most powerful sanction aside from stopping all oil supplies to a country. However, this could be a double-edged sword. A blockade could be used for blocking North channels for earning foreign currency. What if there's a clash between the U.S. Navy and North Korean vessels? Well, it could lead to war. The Moon administration even considered the idea of postponing the joint drill in order to encourage North Korea to participate in the Olympic Games. However, as it is clearly evidenced in North Korea's continued missile launch provocations, there is no possibility whatsoever of the recalcitrant nation voluntarily giving up efforts to improve its missile technology until Pyongyang is confident of its ICBM's capability to hit the continental United States. The Moon administration, trying to turn its face away from ever-growing nuclear missile threats in an attempt to encourage dialogue. This is a serious mistake that could cost the security of our nation. In this case, the writer means South Korea. And there's one other sentence in here. Despite an unprecedented crisis unfolding before our eyes, the Moon administration appears not to recognize the urgency of the situation. We wonder if the Liberal government really regards the critical security issue as being secondary to the upcoming Winter Olympics. So, I'm wondering what's going to happen after the Olympics. And the Olympics, I believe, are in February with the Paralympics right behind them in March. A little bit more North Korea news. A boat carrying 10 men suspected to be from North Korea was discovered drifting off a Japanese island, the latest in a series of odd hermit kingdom finds, which included a skeleton-filled ghost ship with a body, with actually about 8 bodies, and North Korean words scribbled on it, washed up on shore in Japan this weekend. Japan's Coast Guard spotted the wooden boat rocking off the western coast of the North Island of Hokkaido, but due to rough seas, they weren't able to reach the vessel until Wednesday. 10 North Koreans gestured yes or no to the questions we put on our electronic message board. We are now towing the boat to calmer water and plan to hold an on-site inspection inside the boat this afternoon. It was a wooden boat. You don't see wooden boats very much anymore. You'll see fiberglass. Of course, you see metal. but wood. And trust me, these aren't fancy wooden things. These are little more than dinghies. The Japanese government has been investigating the decrepit boat and the men aboard. It's unclear at this time if the men were defectors or illegally fishing inside Japan's 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zone. However, this just adds to the long string of unusual discoveries possibly involving North Koreans along the Japanese coast over the last 2 weeks. This isn't the first boat to turn up on their shores. They removed 8 remains from the ghost ship. The remains were quote-unquote skeletonized. However, with the North Korean words, we can only speculate where it came from. Another body of a suspected North Korean was found on Sado Island on Saturday. Korean letters, a pack of cigarettes, and other belongings with North Korean writing was found on him. Of course, this leads officials to believe he was from the Hermit Kingdom. It's unclear how he perished. So dozens of boats and debris wash up on Japanese northern coasts every year. This year, 59 cases, compared to 66 last year and down from 80 5 years ago. Nearly half of them in November alone. Sometimes they're linked to a reported campaign by North Korea to send fishermen further out for more catches. However, it is unclear if the people aboard those boats that drift near Japanese shores each year intend to defect or are simply unable to make their way back in unseaworthy wooden vessels. Because there is a seasonal wind that frequently pushes boats towards Japan. So, who knows? Experts are saying the new Hwasong 15 could be deployable by 2018. Wow! Yep, I said that. Talk about sneaking up on us. The Hwasong 15 is also large enough to carry simple decoys or other countermeasures designed to challenge America's existing national missile defense system. The new missile also features more efficient and simpler steering mechanism, among other improvements. It appears to be able to deliver a 1,000 kilogram payload to anywhere in the United States. And while North Korea has almost certainly developed a warhead that weighs less than 700 kilograms, we don't know if the re-entry vehicle has been perfected. If low confidence in the missile's reliability is acceptable, 2 or 3 test firings over the next 4 to 6 months may be all that is required before Kim Jong-un declares the Hwasong 15 combat ready. The Air Force is not sitting on its hands. The Aviation Intelligence Wing is tasked with monitoring North Korea's related activities around the clock in close coordination with the United States. It will also collect and analyze information related to South Korea's military space operation. South Korea has stepped up efforts to bolster its capabilities, a key precondition for the push to regain wartime control of its troops from the U.S. It plans to introduce 2 RQ-4 Global Hawk unmanned aerial vehicles and 2 more UAVs are scheduled to arrive in 2019. All right. Got one more Norco story, assuming I can put pause on it. Yeah, I've got a ton of them. Don't even get me started. Well, I started myself, but that's China, but it's relevant. I mean, you guys do realize that China has all but cut off North Korea. They've stopped flying into and out of North Korea. Yes, they have stopped regular commercial flights in and out of North Korea. They have threatened to cut off their internet. But then Russia stepped up. So if, everyone's worried that the North will act up during the Olympic Games, which is February 9th through the 25th. And it's 60 miles south of the DMZ. And of course, South Korea is trying to project a stable atmosphere. And of course, this is around the same time as the major exercises Key Resolve and Fall Eagle. They are usually kicked off in late February or early March. The North, of course, says the rehearsal for invasions. South Korea is indicating that they may want these exercises delayed to avoid overlapping with Olympic events. So, on that note, Beijing is holding military drills near its North Korean border. Now, they are not targeting the regime. I'm willing to bet they're looking for people sneaking across the border, though. The winter weather exercises Yonhan 2017 are taking place in areas near the North Korean border. However, they are not targeting North Korea. The exercises are being conducted according to an annual plan. They are not aimed at a particular country or party. However, Beijing rarely makes announcements about drills at the border. Zhang Tao, a recent Chinese envoy to Pyongyang, was turned down for a meeting with Kim Jong-un, a North Korean move that China did not see as a good idea. Experts on China-North Korean relations say China moves troops to the border when relations with North Korea deteriorates. A bridge linking the two countries may have also recently closed. Frosty ties between Pyongyang and Beijing are taking a toll on relations between the Korean Workers' Party and the Chinese Communist Party, which recently concluded, of course, the Chinese recently concluded their 19th Party Congress. North Korea decided not to dispatch a delegation to the World Political Parties dialogue scheduled to take place in Beijing right now between November 30th to December 3rd. So, North Korea is starting to thumb its nose at China. All right, folks, I know I've overshot the break. So what we're going to do, we're going to pay those radio station bills. I will see you on the other side, and we will kick it off with my mashup of some of my favorite North Korean audio clips.
You can lay down if you wanna. You can run away if you wanna. You can pretend that this is totally okay if you wanna. You can play dead if you wanna. Forget what they said if you wanna. Turn your back on the country needing you right now, but I don't wanna.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is, if getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
You can lay down if you wanna. You can run away if you wanna. You can pretend that this is totally okay if you wanna. You
All right, thank you for hanging in there with me while I paid those radio station bills. Yes, I know, I totally blew the commercial break, but I am back with my first ever North Korean mashup. I took some of my favorite comments from Americans talking about North Korea and mixed them all together, taking about a minute. Some of them are a little out of context, but I think they're kind of cute.
So we have 20 years of failed approach.
The regime has shown time and again that it doesn't want to talk. North Korea's launch of an ICBM is a clear and sharp military escalation. North Korea does not want to be part of a peaceful world. His abusive use of missiles and his nuclear threats show that he is begging for war. I said the days of talking were over, and it was time to act.
North Korea best not make any more threats to the United States. They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen.
I have no problem kicking it to General Mattis because I think he has plenty of options.
General?
Has he given up a first strike possibility? Secretary Mattis?
No, sir.
Any use of nuclear weapons by the North will be met with a massive military response, effective and overwhelming. Make no mistake, any attack on the United States or our allies will be defeated.
All right, so all those of you who just caught my mashup, I would love some feedback. And there's two primary ways you can do that. You can tag me in a tweet on Twitter at Jesse's POV, or you can drop me an email at the station at jessespov@klrnradio.com. Yes, that was my first ever attempt at a mashup. All right. Let's talk about the Middle East. Saudi Arabia is going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Trump might, although some say he's not, some say he is, move the embassy to Jerusalem. And Saudi Arabia is shooting down more missiles from Yemen. Yes. I am not joking. Yes, these are some of the cockamamie, goofy things that are going on. So, then of course you've got the Palestinians. They were raising a ruckus this past week, and I don't have the audio queued up, but they were talking about the resolution that basically pushed Israel back a little bit and gave them a little bit of space, and wondered why everybody wasn't celebrating a historic UN resolution. And I just about cracked up because, well, real simple here, folks. I love the way the UN Secretary General's spokesperson put it. We'll leave history to the historians. I could not believe it. I loved it, and I absolutely cracked up all at the same time. I thought it was quite the take on things. We will leave history to the historians. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Now, the White House is considering new steps towards formally recognizing a unified Jerusalem as the capital of Israel and moving the U.S. Embassy there. Basically, Monday is the deadline for Trump to decide whether or not to sign another 6-month waiver of the 1995 law that mandates the embassy move. Trump and his last 3 predecessors have each delayed an embassy move, in part to facilitate peace talks with the Palestinians who oppose it. However, I've heard that Saudi Arabia is not going to kick up a bunch of dust if we do it. And Egypt is looking unusually friendly. I mean, really? this is one of those very interesting things. Now, of course, moving an embassy is not a quick process. A new facility requires money from Congress. The State Department would also need to identify and vet real estate, purchase it, work with diplomatic security to ensure safety, build the facility, and then move. And all that takes time. But it would definitely be an interesting thing. Now, I've seen conflicting stories. I've seen that Trump is likely to delay it. I've seen he's still undecided. So, now, of course, the Temple Mount in Jerusalem is the most contentious, contested piece of real estate on the planet. Yes, it is the most contested piece of real estate on the planet. Because, well, quite frankly, the Jews claim it is their holy site. The Muslims claim it is one of their holy sites. And everybody wants it, and the Christians view it as significant to them. So there is nothing simple about this. Now, I am not seeing the audio clip I'm looking for. It could be just about anywhere. I will keep looking for it for just a moment. But the previous Secretary General of the United Nations did actually admit that the temple was Jewish. And he admitted it on a radio show shortly before he left office. And I am not finding it. But I will... You're just going to take my word for it because I literally... Alright, I will look one more spot. I do want to find this. This is one of my proudest pieces of audio, believe it or not. For those of you who don't know why I'm so adamant on this, I am Jewish. Yes, I will be celebrating Hanukkah, not Christmas. Do I care if you wish me a Merry Christmas? No. If you know that I'm Jewish and you see me in person and you wish me a Merry Christmas, I'll reply Happy Hanukkah. Otherwise, I'll smile, nod, and move on. I just don't have time for that noise. So, alright, I think I'm in the right realm here. Yes, I can actually tell. Here it is. I found it.
Positions of UNESCO are positions of the governing body of UNESCO. They're not. It is clear for me that the Temple of Jerusalem was destroyed by the Romans. It was a Jewish temple, as it is clear for me that Jerusalem is today a holy city for three religions. These are the facts that nobody can deny.
So let's talk about.
Yes, that was the previous UN Secretary General. Admitting the temple in Jerusalem is a Jewish temple. To me, that is one of the most prized pieces of audio I have. Like I said, I've seen conflicting reports over whether Trump's going to move it. I've seen yes, I've seen no. Now, Department of Defense has been mulling over cluster bombs. And the Pentagon is working on a new policy on cluster bombs, abandoning a previous plan that mandated the military ditch older versions of controversial weapons by 2019. The department will retain cluster munitions currently in active inventories until the capabilities they provide are replaced with enhanced munitions. The memo called the weapons an effective and necessary capability. Here's the deal. Cluster bombs don't just deliver the initial boom. They also spread smaller bombs over a wide area. They're kind of frowned on by the international community due to the risk of civilian casualties, but we have them. We're not the only people. The United States, China, Israel, Iran, North Korea, Russia, and Saudi Arabia have rejected a ban on the sale or use of cluster bombs. Now, granted, that is not a prestigious list to be on. However, Saudi Arabia has been accused of using them in civilian areas in Yemen. And they've been using them in populated areas. Now, the Department of Defense memo calls on the Pentagon to purchase the newer, safer versions of the bombs. Let's look at this for just one moment. The Pentagon's purchasing power has been one step short of hamstrung. Because, thank you, sequestration. Okay? Continuing resolutions do not allow for large purchases, increases, and various other things that are needed. Now, I mentioned that Saudi Arabia has shot down the second Yemeni missile this month. It was fired by Yemen's armed Houthi rebels. The Houthis are backed up by who? None other than Iran. Oh, yes. And who does Iran trade with? Well, North Korea and Russia. Seeing these dots connect, folks? A Saudi-led coalition fighting the Houthis in Yemen has closed air, land, and sea access in a move it says meant to stop the flow of Iranian arms to the Houthis, who control much of northern Yemen. The blockade has cut food imports to 7 million people on the brink of famine. However, the Sauds are looking at allowing in food after vessels have been searched. The coalition, yes, we're talking the same coalition. Saudi Arabia and its allies, who received logistical and intelligence help from the United States, accused the Houthis of being an Iranian proxy. Remember, Yemen is essentially a failed state. Well, let's lose the word essentially. It is. All right. Russia. If you know Vladimir Putin, well, guess what? You could end up on a U.S. government blacklist, and the list is to be drawn up early next year. It's part of a sanctions bill passed by Congress soon after Trump became president, and he signed it on August 2nd, despite his wish to improve ties with Moscow. Now, people on this list could be eligible for sanctions. These aren't companies we're sanctioning, these are people. They wouldn't automatically be sanctioned, but here's the deal. If you're classified as close to Putin, just try proving it's not the case. American tactics are clear. They're trying to cause pain for people who are close to Putin. They're doing this for a couple reasons. Here's why. Okay? Russia still has the Ukraine and it shows no signs of giving it back. Doubt they ever will. Thank you, Obama, for rolling over on that one. And Russia is now stepping in to fill some of these voids that China is bowing out of with North Korea. Although Russia did at least play lip service to condemning the ICBM launch by North Korea. However, it's definitely one of those things of this could get awkward. This could get really awkward. All right. I have gone through almost my entire stack of show prep. Score. I think that's the first time I've gotten through most of a stack in quite a long time. Now, trust me, I have plenty of other things I could go off on, but I only have a couple minutes left. So, we're going to talk about a little bit more goings-on in the Middle East. For those of you who wonder, Israel has been hit by more mortar fire. Now, these are coming from Gaza, which means Hamas. Hamas is also backed by Iran. Iran had backed away from Hamas, but they, for lack of a better term, kissed and made up. So we've got Hamas launching attacks on Israel. North Korea building the ICBM. And Syria bowing down to everything Russia wants. And Saudi Arabia trying to rein in the Houthis who are shooting missiles at them. This is going to be an interesting upcoming year. No, this isn't my last show for the year. Just wanted to make a note of it because I don't often get a chance to just connect the dots. Hamas has control of the West Bank. The Palestinian Authority has Hamas members as part of their governing body. And since September 2015, Palestinians have killed more than 50 Israelis, 2 visiting Americans, a British tourist, and more than 206. And so now I will say more than 260 Palestinians have died in clashes with Israeli forces during that time. But when you're throwing sticks and stones at a military force, I'm sorry, you might just be on the wrong side of stupid. Because
that's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
All right, well, I thank y'all for hanging in there with me. And just as a reminder, you can always catch up with me on Twitter at Jesse's POV. You can email me at the station at Jesse's POV at KLRNRadio.com. And I will, on that note, folks, I'm out of here, and I will see you next week.